All right, well, let's start with today's quote. And it's, "Know it's weird? Day by day, nothing seems to change, but pretty soon everything's different." And that's by Bill Watterson, who is essentially the mastermind behind Calvin and Hobbes, which is a favorite in this household as far as cartoons go. Um, so there's that. I was starting to look at quotes about endurance and perseverance and patience because, much like the last few streams, have been talking about being in a holding pattern at this time of year. Pretty typical. Uh-oh, my cat has moved. Okay, I have to pause for just a second to let the cat out. And then I ended up on a quote that got me off on another, you know, tangent. I think the word was weird or like weird people. So I was like, let's look for something that's weird. And I was like, because I feel like if you kind of follow those brain tangents, you will be led sometimes to something you need to see or something you need to read or something you need to hear or whatever, which is part of the motivation for doing these quotes of the day anyway. And I saw this one and I was like, it's true. Um, just that whole, it feels particularly when you're in a holding pattern, like you're waiting for anything. Waiting kind of sucks in general, like waiting to find out I was pregnant, or waiting to find out about a medical diagnosis, or waiting about a job, or waiting about uh just changes at your job. Waiting for things sucks. And so you kind of get into this not stasis mode, holding pattern probably is still the best way to describe that. And even though it doesn't feel like things are changing or things are moving or whatever, after a while you notice things are different. Whether or not they're big differences or little differences, I guess it depends on when you kind of do a check in on the reality of how your situation is, which can be difficult to do when you're in a holding pattern. Um, but I find that little reminders that things are still transforming, even when they don't seem to be, um, can kind of bolster you through that holding pattern. So that is my quote for you today. My quote for me today, um, in the hopes that maybe you just need to be reminded that things are still, you know, changing even when they don't feel like they are. So there's that. Sometimes even when things are obvious, you still need the like actual reminder. The actual You need to actually go, "Yep, that's still a thing." So, anyway,